I want to prefix this video by saying Season 8 of Game of Thrones is pretty shit. Okay, good morning. I've just woken up, so I probably sound like I've just woken up. Now, let me get the elephant out of the room immediately by saying my alt account, the Green Doom, is ruined. Luckily, it's not ruined permanently, but it's ruined for 2 months. I cannot touch that account for the next 2 months. YouTube Cup was supposed to happen last week, right? It was supposed to be a simple 3-day tournament, and that was it. Now, the problem was that one of my teammates couldn't play, so I actually had to go and approach Gaijin and be like, yo, could you guys give me test drives for 2 lineups of these modern tier tanks and 1 lineup of these boats? So I got test drives. And I already know that at this point, I've sort of gone against the spirit of what that account is supposed to be. You know, no interaction from Gaijin, no interaction from my wallet. It's supposed to be a free-to-play account. But I figured, it's for a tournament. It's for a greater cause, and those vehicles would have been gone in a week. You know, nobody would have cared. But of course, Gaijin went and did what Gaijin did. You know, expect nothing and still be disappointed. The tournament was a complete and utter disaster. Who would have thought? I mean, you bring Fly all the way from America, you bring Bruce all the way from England to Russia, and then you don't even bother pre-checking your freaking audio. Like, there's 1,000 or 2,000 people sitting there in the stream room, and they just get blasted with hanger music. You know, there were still, like, the top bar still had team names from, like, tournament of 3 months ago. They didn't even run a test stream. Can you imagine that? You're doing a wannabe YouTube tournament, you're putting so much effort into promoting it, and you don't even bother doing a test stream to make sure everything is working. I mean, what in the Well, regardless, Gaijin has a great way of fixing things. So what they did was, on the same day, Monday, at midnight, right, middle of the working week, they decided to, let's just get everybody in here, you know, Anton, the CEO, and all the grand moderators and people who were supposed to actually make this thing run about, 50,000% more smoothly. They get into the chat on Discord and all the team captains, and they come up with a conclusion that they're going to cancel the tournament, and they're going to run it again in a couple of weeks' time, and that maybe it would be a good idea to figure out the date so that more people can play and you can have more than just 7 teams in the tournament. And then the grand decision came in that because some people don't have all these vehicles unlocked, they would just give them test drives. So every single content creator that's in the tournament just received test drives for all the vehicles in the tournament, all the ships, all the top tier tanks, all the helicopters, all the World War II vehicles, for like 60 days. That's a 2-month period. I cannot use this account. Now, I could go and approach Gaijin like an absolute baboon and ask them to remove the vehicle test drives and then re-add them in the week of the tournament. But we don't even know when the tournament's going to be. They're talking this might be on a weekend now. They're going to be trying to get more players in. Maybe they'll try to fix some stuff. I don't know if they're going to ship Fly back to Russia again, so they might be looking for a new caster. If anyone at Gaijin is watching, I've got a simple solution, right? All you guys got to do is buy me a ticket to America, and I'll stream with Donnie from his basement. We've got a green screen, we've got vodka, we've got whatever Donnie's got. We've got, good microphones, we can do duels. I think 1v1s would look fantastic. And you don't even have to pay us, we'll do it for free. Like, legit, me and Donnie were a dream team. Jokes aside, although I'd actually do that, something else came out this week, and this has been in development for 5 years, okay? Let me just say that. This has been in development for 5 years. This is World War Mode, and when I first heard of World War Mode, I thought I wasn't going to like it, because I thought what this was going to be is just a massive enduring confrontation, or maybe a combination of more enduring confrontations all put together in a weird conglomerate. I don't like enduring confrontation, okay? I'm probably one of the few, maybe I'm the minority, I don't quite know, but for me, the idea of an ongoing battle where you keep spawning in the same vehicles, and you keep fighting the same vehicles, and you keep fighting the same players, and I just don't see the point of it. I like the idea of going into a match, getting one map, going into another match, getting a different map. That's why I find it very painful when we keep getting the same maps over and over, and it's the same bad map over and over, you know? When I was complaining about Folder last year, it wasn't because it's Folder, it was also because every match was Folder. So for me, the idea of variety is extremely important, and, well, we do actually get some variety here, as soon as you figure out how this thing works. The problem of World War Mode, and the problem with War Thunder in general, is that they spend years and years and years designing something without actually looking at the simplicity of it. The reason why going into arcade is so easy is because all you have to do is click the to battle button. The reason why realistic battle tends to get a bit more complicated is because you have to actually first make a lineup before you click the to battle button. And then, of course, before you can go into Sim, you have to actually first go and either set up your mouse controls, which, by the way, I have a 5-year-old video on, and it's way better than this game mode, or you have to buy a joystick, you know, and then plug that joystick in and figure out how to use it, and then realize that you might need some kind of head tracking device, so that will cost another £100. But still, you then press the to battle button and you get in there. With this, there's none of that. You're first greeted with this weird hexagonal beehive-looking map, which, you know, looks all right. They could have actually bothered to make it look more like the map you're playing on rather than just a sort of terrain-ish thing. And then you have to figure out which click does something, because you have to, like, left-click on some things and then right-click on them, and then you deploy some units, and then you can move around your tanks, and then you have entrenched units, and it's all so confusing, and it feels like you're playing some strategy game, you know, like I've swapped and started playing a mobile game. And then you finally find yourself on a battle screen. You're like, oh, this is it. We just click battle, and it's gonna put us into a game. It won't. And I think the reason it doesn't do that is because you don't have enough players, because I'm not playing in a squadron. I've not joined another battle. I've made my own battle. And somebody else in the opposite team has made his own battle. Now, he has to wait for his teammates that don't exist to show up, and I have to wait for my teammates that don't exist to show up. And the worst part is, look at this. We got bombers, we got fighters. They've got tanks, they've got tanks, they've got tanks, and they've got one shitty SPA. And I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, what's the point of this? So what, I get to play close air support? Hell in the yeah. Now, solid 5 years later, the match actually starts, and I, of course, select the BF-19E3, which I have not flown in ages, and let's have a look at what this will do. So, first things first, my orange wing has been ruined, because clearly a big orange wing is a distraction to the game and destroys its historical purpose, so they've... The first thing I notice is that we spawned really, really, really far away from the battlefield, which is great, because we're now greeted with an entire minute-long flight to the actual battlefield. And if you've noticed in the bottom left corner, I see two things. There's a 9-minute countdown, or a 10-minute countdown, and 20 ground units that we have to destroy. So I'm thinking in my brain, okay, the enemy team had tanks, so I guess we have to kill 20 of their tanks in the 10-minute mark, and we win. Which is already confusing me, because I thought this was going to be enduring confrontation. It's not. It's a 10-minute game, and it's one-sided because we have to do something and the enemy just has to not do anything, I guess. To my surprise, the 20 artillery sign thingy is not their tanks. It is, in fact, as you've probably guessed it, AI. Let me just explain this, because we're flying as Germans, the enemy is playing as Russians, and the AI are, in fact, American M16s. Yes, it makes great sense. The best part about the M16s is that they don't actually render from a certain distance, so you don't actually realize what you're fighting until you get close up. When you're close enough, you'll realize that you're getting bombarded by SPA fire, and oh, look at that, your tail control's gone. Yay, from 2-kilometer altitude. I'm actually speechless about that. I mean, it is unbelievable how 5 years of development has led to this. Has led to a game scenario where you have aircraft in RB with markers, with bombing reticules. What's ironic is that YouTube had a breakdown recently, and you've probably noticed this, because what they did was they were merging the existing gaming application from years ago with YouTube. So what happened was a lot of us got our old subscriptions back. Like, I'm now randomly subscribed to Minecraft YouTubers, and ironically, I saw a few old War Thunder YouTubers, people who used to make videos and whatnot, and I clicked on one of them, and I found a video from tanks from like the beta stage, and it was gameplay of T-44, and I looked at the way the game used to look, and it just used to look way better. There used to be this kind of, it just felt better. The color, the tree design, it now seems so washed away. And the more I was looking at it, the more I started missing that all day. Because in the very beginning, we did actually have these markers. The way this game mode looks is in fact how the game used to look like in terms of game functions. But I mean, let's get to the chase. We have a Stuka here. It's the B2. I've no recognition of ever playing this. It's spaded, so I must have done a few matches in RB. I've got one bomb, and I've got 6 minutes and 50 seconds to kill this. And look at that, we're several kilometers out. I don't even see them, but yet they're firing at me. And how do I counter an M16? When it's just spraying at me with basically radar accuracy. So I just try to line up one, and I figured if I try to drop the bomb in the near vicinity of one, maybe I'll get a kill. And then I'll just fly up, and I guess they won't hit me. Yeah, never mind, they can hit anything from anywhere. It feels like they just copy-pasted AAA from airfields and put them into this map and figured this would be a great idea. Let's make people who miss close air support even more. And I managed to kill one. Oh, brilliant. Now I can see where all the M16s are before I actually get to shoot at one and then get burnt. So I tried the fighter, it didn't work. I tried the attacker, it didn't work. I then try a fighter again, and, well, you can probably guess, that didn't work. Because the M16 is equipped with the I can see through hills and trees and the plane that's flying at 50 meters. I'm seriously convinced this is just copy-pasted AAA from airfields just to piss us off. Until last but not least, I finally get enough point to spawn the bomber in, and then I thought, maybe the best way to do this is just to use the bomber. It has a lot of small bombs, get a lot of altitude, and then just carpet bomb them, right? Because they can't reach me at that altitude. You know what else happens? At that altitude, the M16s don't render. You can't see them. And frankly, because I made this battle, and it took another 5 minutes for a few players to actually join it, there's no way that you could possibly have a positive outcome. Your tickets are bleeding throughout. We were able to eliminate like 2 or 3 of these pesky AAA. But I think what must have been worse than playing the plane, because at least I was getting to do something, must have been being one of the enemy Russian machine gun trucks. Because the only thing they were able to do was just sit there and try to get the kill before the AI eventually just stole it. And I think in this entire match, only one person on the enemy team actually managed to get a kill with one of the gas trucks. That burp was for Gaijin. Regardless of what your opinions are on this game mode, because I'm sure that there's a few people who have played this through a squadron, they've played this, in a team, coordinated, maybe they had luck joining. There's probably a lot of people out there who have big brains with a lot of IQ, and they have actually figured out how to play this game mode. But regardless of who you are, what you do, what is the point of playing this? I mean, if you guys want to play Enduring Confrontation, by all means. Well, you can't play it because it's not there, but if it's there, if it was in the events tab, you could, choose to play it, and those of us who don't want to play it could choose not to play it. The reward for playing this World War mode is a French tank. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I know it's not the E100, so I don't see it being worthy of grinding for top 500 or whatever. I've reached a point now where I couldn't give a shit how many years somebody spent developing something, or what new vehicle they bring in, or what new wonderful changes to mechanics. I would love to see the way you guys want to have permanent enduring confrontation in the events mode. I want to see an event called Historical Battles, and I want that to be the OG Thunder. I would literally rather play beta tanks than this, and that is Karelia, Ash River, Jungle, and Kuban. These 4 maps, obviously Kuban, the old version of it, was way better than this one. I'd love to see the old version of Corellia as well be re-added. Markers, all the vehicles, and only the vehicles that existed back then, that's it. That, for me, would be a game I would much rather play than what they're trying to do here. Because this is worse than writing of Season 8 of Game of Thrones. And that's saying something. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Friendly reminder to Gaijin, Donnie and I were still open to do the commentary. If for some reason you guys want to see certain gameplay of certain vehicles, since theOrangeDoom is now back on the menu for about 2 months, we might be able to revisit some of those. I was thinking maybe doing some vehicles that have the Thunderleaf camouflages because they look good. So T44, T32, Walker Bulldog, T44. I've said that one before, but I always like playing T44. So T44, T44, T44.